Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. My name is Ryan with Secret Graphics, and today we're going to be having a Photoshop tutorial. The subject is your layout. Cool, so thanks for hanging in. Again, the subject today is going to be how to adjust your layout in Photoshop CS6 the way that you want. So, as you can see already, I have it pulled up, and this is my custom layout. I'll show you how to make that here in a sec. But if you've never used Photoshop before, you're probably going to be something more along the lines of the default layout, which would be that right there. That is the default layout, and there's a whole lot of buttons here, and it can very easily become confusing. So we're going to go through it real quick, and I'll try to keep it as short as I can. If you got any questions, just let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to take care of you. If you got any other ideas for future videos, that's what I'm looking for as well. Alright, so here we go. Starting over here on the side, we have our layers panel. You know you're talking about the layers because right there it says layers on the tab. Next to that you have channels. Up here we have adjustments, and there's a whole lot of those. There's styles, which gives you like a quick way of adjusting certain things. Colors and swatches. Up here in the essentials, you'll see that there is a variety of basics layouts that have already been put into the program. You can simply click on them, check them out. You got 3D, motion, painting, photography, typography. What they're going to do is just be having a lot of buttons that are conducive to doing those things. Let's go on how to manipulate these things real quick and show you what you can do with it. Alright, so I'm going to close it all out, and minus not closing the program, just moving all these things out of the way. I'm going to show you the basics. That's as closed as you can get right there. So if you want as most basic as you can get, that's it. Now we can start adding things by, if you go right up here at the top, you'll see in your upper menu bar, it says window. Click on window. Now if you close this out by mistake, you can always go back to it. Now since this is my personalized one, if I click on it, it's going to go back to what I just did. It thinks that that's what I wanted. No big deal. I can go ahead and reset Ryan Essentials, and it'll say, oh, okay, that must have been a mistake. Let me go ahead and fix that. And I just go over here. There we go. Done deal. Now, that's how you can do that if you accidentally close one out. But let's say, for example, we're starting from the basics, right? For whatever reason, we are as basic as it can get. So let me try and close this out real quick. Alright, so we go up here to window, workspace, window, and then you go down here, and these are all the little things that you were seeing. I didn't have them all activated, but you can activate as many as you want. Just click on 3D, and then you got a variety of things for 3D, adjustments, and whatnot. You can click on actions, and it just shows you the past actions that you can do. History is going to do that as well. And so you can go through each of these. Adjustments, that's going to be one you probably use a lot. Now it's pulling up these other ones right here because that's what I had attached to it. But if you had nothing attached to adjustments like that, and close, now I close that out. There we go. It's just going to pull up adjustments. So that's what that was all about. So let's make some a layout real quick, all right? So I'm gonna pull open one I use all the time, which is layers. Let's just have layers here real quick. All right, let's talk about this real quick. So I pulled up this icon, if you can see it. It says layers right there. Now you have these dotted lines right here at the top, this a little bit darker button at the top, some arrows, and an X button, and that's generally how they're gonna come. They're either gonna come that way or that way. That's the expanded view. Now, if I want to put that somewhere, I can just left click on the top bar, move it wherever I want, and then drop it. Just let go. Just click and drag. That's all you got to do. But there are a couple things that are really cool. So let's say I wanted that on the side. Okay, I can spend a little bit of time trying to get this exactly, and it does snap. Sometimes it doesn't want to, so don't be surprised if you have a little bit of difficulty with that. Photoshop is finicky sometimes, so I find that if it's giving me problems on not doing what I need it to do, just a quick save and restart the program usually fixes it. Let's say, for example, it's not snapping for whatever reason. It's just doing that number, and you're like, I can't get it exactly there. Okay, here's a trick. Left click, and you see where that blue line is? One more time. See that blue line? Left click on that, on your thing, and then drop it right there on that blue line, and then there you go. Now I've got layers all the way down. But maybe you don't need that much space for layers or whatever it is you pulled up. Just go to Window, grab the next one that you're thinking about liking, let's say, I don't know, brush. And it's just the brush, not everything else and its brother. Okay? Because again, we're trying to make it the way you want. It's pulling up all the other things I had connected to it. So it has brush, and I like brush, and I want brush on here. I can go right here, and now you see how it's different things are turning blue? That's going to give you an idea where it's about to be dropped. So if I put it right here, watch the blue, there you go. It's going to drop it just like I did with the layers. But as you can see, I'm going to be running out of space real quick if I continue to do that. Here's a trick. I'm going to left click and hold. I'm going to detach it. Now, maybe I want it above that. I can put it above it. Really cool. Now, maybe I didn't want that. Maybe I want it below it somewhere. I go all the way here at the bottom. See where that blue line is? Now it's at the bottom. Now, let's say, for example, I want certain things beside each other, like a tab, kind of like you would find in, you know, any kind of Windows Explorer or Chrome or whatever your internet browser is. I can do this. Left click and hold, go up to this other menu item. You see where the whole thing turns blue? Drop it right there. And now these are two tabbed together. I'm taking up even less room. Now it's wide like that because brush itself is a pretty big part of the menu. But as you can see, it's taking up a little less room as opposed to having brush by the side of layers, or maybe all the way at the bottom. So you can do that number. Now let's say, for example, let's put a bunch of them out there real quick. Layer comps. Okay, here's a bunch. And let's just make a bunch of tabs real quick. This is history, I think. Nope, navigator. Okay, histogram. So we got a bunch of them going right here. A lot of these tabs, no big deal, right? So what happens if we put them in the wrong order? Maybe I use these two the most, and I'm thinking of histogram. So I want to put it in another order. I just left click on histogram, move it wherever I want. If you look real carefully, you'll see the tabs moving. It's just like on, you know, one of your web browsers. You just left click, hold, put it in between where you want, drop it, and there it is. Simple as that. Now histogram is moved. You can probably see it a little easier when it's expanded. Okay, just like that. Now, let's say, for example, I got this set up the way I want. I got them all tabbed in the order I like. Just go right here to this little arrow right here. I can make it even smaller. That is the smallest it gets. Now, let's say I want to move all that group at one time. Instead of grabbing, I can grab this, but if I have other things connected to that, which I'll show in a second, that's going to grab them as well. So if I just want to grab this group, I'll grab this little dotted line bit right here, left click hold, and it moves that group out. Okay. Now if I wanted to move just the individual thing out, like say layers, I left click on layers and hold it out and drag and drop. So that's really all it is to it, guys. I mean, it's really simple, not a whole lot to this, not a very complex thing. It can be seem daunting, and you sit there and go, well, I have to go look through all of these. What I would do first is just get used to the tools for your own purposes, see what they do, and then figure out the ones that you use the most. And then start to say, well, okay, I use, you know, maybe the brush tool a lot, the navigation tool a lot, the adjustments tool a lot. I want to put those as a bigger portion of the screen so I can access them quicker. Or maybe I use a 3D a lot. I want to do the same thing with that. You know, there's nothing wrong with any of that. So let me just show you another thing. So I have this as a group, right? Then let's make a paragraph styles, and we're gonna lower that real quick, and I'm going to put it over here to the side. Now see, I can stack this to the side, and instead of taking up a whole lot of room, I can just click on it and then it expands. Okay, I don't have to click here. If I click here on this arrow, this double arrow at the top right, it's going to expand that whole side. But if I just want to expand that one little thing, then I can do that. Now keep in mind though, if I put a whole bunch of stuff here and I start clicking on like brush, see how it covers up this other deal right here? So just keep that in mind as you're laying it out. So maybe I'll sit there and drag this here. Realize it's got its own dotted line. That's because it's a part of a different group. If I expand this, that's how it's going to pull out. The paragraph styles is going to be on its own window, and these are going to be on their own tabs. So that kind of helps you keep things in lines. Because if you have too many things tabbed, as you saw earlier, let's select maybe one of the smaller ones. There we go. Like histogram is just a small window. And with all these tabs there, it's going to get kind of hard to select that right one really quickly when you're doing something like that, you know. So you might not want a whole lot of things tabbed in histogram. So I'll just drag, put them with paragraph, put it with that, and you know, we create something that we ultimately are going to use a lot more often, and then we just click on it. Real simple, okay? So that's how that works. Now, the one on the left side here that I use all the time is called Tools. That's all of those. Now you see it's got this dotted line as well. You can click the double arrows, and what that does is it just simply makes it a bit wider. You can put it over here if you want. I prefer it over on the left side, so just have it. So, you know, it's what I was trained on. No right or wrong to it, but that's the way I put it. And so you can do that right there. And that's typically the way I do things. Now, I'm going to reset it real quick so my stuff is the way I like it. And that needs to go there. I don't know why it does that. Alright, so one more thing real quick is going to be the color scheme to all this. Go up here to Edit, go down to Preferences, and then you can go to General or Control-K, Command-K if you're a Mac user. But you're just going to go down here to Interface, and then you can make it even darker or some variation in between. You can put drop shadows, lines. There's a lot of little cool, neat tricks that you can do with this to really just tweak it the best way you want. Besides that, that really sums it up. That's setting up your layout. One last thing real quick. Let's say you got it the way you want, right? So you've gone through the tools, you've done it all, you're like, this is the way I want. When I open Photoshop, I want it to be this way. Well, in truth, it's more likely going to just stay that way. But if you cycle through different layouts, like some people may do, then you can create a custom layout. So what you do is you put it the way you want, go up here to Window, and then we're going to say Workspace and New Workspace. And then you just title it, and you tell it you want keyboard shortcuts and menus and that kind of thing. And I'm going to click Cancel because I don't want to make a new one, but you would hit Save, and then there you go. And for mine, I did that, and I called it Ryan Essentials because it was basically a small variation off of the normal Essentials. And that's it. So there you go, Ryan Essentials. That way I can go down here to Painting, changes it up, then go back to Ryan Essentials. It's the way I want it. And if I ever mess it up, I can reset Ryan Essentials or reset Motion or reset whatever one you are on. That's a neat little trick. And of course, if you make the wrong thing or name it wrong or something like that, or you just don't like it anymore, you can always delete it too. Just right here, delete workspace, or up here, Window, Workspace, delete workspace. Keyboard shortcuts, we're going to be going over that in another video. So that's it, guys. That's all there is to it. Nothing more to it than that. I hope I kept this short enough for you guys. Thanks for sticking around at the end. If you got any more questions, please let me know. Also, if there's some ideas you have for future videos, I would love to hear that because I really just want to make content that you guys are really interested in. And one last thing, shameless plug. Our business, Secret Graphics, develops shirts and all kinds of ads. We aim to be your one-stop shop for all your business and advertising needs for either the small business, the individual, or the big business. So if you've got a design that you need done or some shirts you need done, give me a shout at orders.secretgraphics.com. That's orders.secret, that's SEEKER, graphics, GRAPHIX, at gmail.com. And I'd love to help you and take care of you. You can contact me the same way if you got any more questions or ideas or anything you just want to chat about. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you next time.